Three guys chilling on a podcast. Social distancing because it is cool.
Yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to whoever and wherever you are. My name's Harry Barr, this is the 27 podcast, and as always, I'm joined by the wonderful Ben Butler and Joscel Manarambona.
In real life!
Take two.
Yeah, we totally did not record the whole thing without plugging my mic in. No, definitely.
Don't say we.
Yeah.
That's a you.
That's a me problem.
As our tech man, that's a you problem.
That's definitely a me problem. So guys, how have you been last week?
Yes, well, thank you. Shout out to George Butler. He was 7 yesterday. Had a great day with him. He's my little brother. It was it was good fun. And then came up to Oxford. Got together with the band. With the boys.
How long has it been now? 4 months?
It's been
literally since
it's
start
March.
of
Like,
lockdown.
we haven't.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
I mean, I came up once and we saw each other, but I only came up for
Like
a night, literally.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
And then it's crazy, isn't it? And now we are back together.
Well, this is the first time I've left Lincolnshire in 4 months to come down to Oxford to see my boys.
Yeah, it's such a weird time, but hopefully we're through the thick of it and we'll be in shallow waters from now on.
Yeah.
You never know. Anyway, COVID is boring. But it's not boring, it's just depressing. So
Constant talk. Better news. Who did we just interview?
Oh, we had just come off an interview with Portsmouth and Scotland goalkeeper, Craig MacGillivray. And I tell you, I'm a Portsmouth fan, so I was fangirling.
A lot.
A little bit. No, I was fangirling hard. It was really interesting. And it was... I think he was so honest, wasn't he? And we spoke to him about... This is weird because we normally do our intro before we do the interview. So it's weird to talk about it.
Retroactively.
But yeah, no, he was really honest and open, and he spoke about some of the struggles of like social media and mental health and what it's like when you get dropped as a player, and then also the moments where you have like pure
the elation,
elation and euphoria, and and it was really interesting, and I want to thank Craig again for coming on because it's a long time as well. Like we do these interview segments and we try hard to get people on. That's no lie, and some people are really really grateful, generous even, and they come on, spare an hour of their day or sometimes even more with some people, and sometimes less. But we're just lucky for whatever, and we don't pay these people, so it is a real privilege that they do take the time to sit with us. There are some people that we ask and they're like, how much are you going to pay us? And we're like, nothing! Which you can't do at the moment. So yeah, it was really good. And I think
even sort of like sort of from our first couple of episodes, we had JK and we were really trying to push to get even just 40 minutes for an episode with him. And then come into now where we can just easily just sit down with Craig and sit down for an hour and just have a discussion, and the interviewing comes a lot more naturally, I'd say, to us now as well.
Definitely, yeah. And I think it's really helpful when you have someone that is so receptive of it. So Craig, we'd ask him a question and he'd go off and talk about it for ages.
Well,
and that's great though. That's exactly what we want. You want someone that is. You don't want someone that is like, what's your favourite colour? Blue. And then that's it. And then you're just like...
Thanks. It's like, wait.
I've been on some dates like that. I'll sit down and go, so what do you do? Oh, I'm in X. Oh, cool. Are you going to ask me what I do? Or are we just going to...
How's your day? Oh, it's good. Mine is as well. Like, this is a conversation, it's a two-way street. No, honestly, really, really, really lovely guy, and as you'll see in the following clip. And for the purists of the 27 podcast, we did do the interview over Zoom. We did sit there over and like, I can't wait.
It's funny though, isn't it? Because all podcasts that I listen to at the moment are conducted over Zoom, obviously. And obviously, there are some people that live with each other or whatever. But I guess when they have guests, normally they have guests in a studio or something. Or, and we haven't got that. No. I'm not inviting them here. This living room is not worthy of a commute up to Oxford to come and sit in here with us for a while.
Just sit in the furniture that doesn't match. on the wall over there as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But no, I think especially what we obviously that we have different guests, but it's really nice when a lot of the time, obviously, we do the interview and you'll see it, and you'll see the interview and it'll be like a 50-minute interview, really interesting. But then also, there's behind the scenes to that where we're sat sometimes, like for example, when we interviewed Max Fosh, he stayed on for like another 45 minutes, just chatting to us, like telling us what we could do, what how we could get more guests on things, and I think it's that as well, that it's the stuff that people don't see that is really shows you who is a great guest or not. And something like Sarah and Jordan as well. Like, we even even the interview was so long because they were just fantastic. They were just
even
non-stop.
We could have filmed 2 podcasts with them.
You might have to start the old part 1, part 2.
Yeah, well, if in the future, if people want to see a full interview uncut, see all the grisly bits, we could probably do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But without further ado, this is our interview with Craig.
Anyone fancy a pint?
Our next guest is Portsmouth and Scotland goalkeeper Craig MacGillivray. Having joined the team in 2018, Craig has gone on to become a star of Pompey's team with his passion and energy on the pitch, cementing his place in Pompey history by saving the penalty that won the Checkatrade Trophy in 2019. Craig, how are you?
I'm marvellous, thank you very much for asking. How are you?
Hi, Craig.
We are
Hello
well.
all.
Thank you. We are well. How does it feel the season's done? What's your reflection on it as a whole, I guess? And
in terms of personal or in terms of as a team?
I guess personal is interesting. Personal, especially. So I am a Portsmouth fan. So people that listen, they should know this. I'm a Portsmouth fan. So personal to me will be really interesting. But then obviously, I guess as a team as well.
A bit of a contrast to last season, that's for sure. It just shows what football's about, like what football is. Things can change very, very quickly. It all went so well. It was all. I felt good. Don't get me wrong. As a team, we probably didn't start as well as we wanted to. We had some funny old games. One particular game stuck in mind was that Coventry game. Like more the fact that it was just. I think they had 9 men on the field with 5 minutes to go. And then we drew 3-0. It was one of them. It was it was disappointing. Well, I know a lot of supporters were devastated by it, and rightly so. We didn't play very well in that game, and we ended up drawing against 9 men, which wasn't great. And it felt like that the whole first half of the season. There was things happening. I can remember Bristol as well. I think were we 2-0 up at the time, and it was 2-1, and then they had a corner near the end. It's Ross and then it's Ross, hits the bar, and then it's back of my head and goes in the net. It's a bit like, oh, here we go. Like, it all has to even itself out eventually. Everything always does. You always have bad luck, and then it always comes back around in football, I've learned. And then I got away with the Scotland squad, which I never thought was, at the time, it was just short of 18 months.
Yeah.
Someone had said to me I'd go away with the national team for the Euro qualifiers. I'd have bitten your hand off. But an unbelievable experience. Like you're standing and training with the likes of Andy Robertson and people like that. It's like scratch your head kind of moment. Getting up in the first time I walked in, I was like a little schoolboy going back to school, thinking, "Oh my life!" I'm like, "What do I do here? Like, what are they going to be like? Do you know what I mean? Are they going to just sort of turn their nose at you?" And it was a great bunch of lads. Every single one of them.
I guess we start there. Is it quite, as you said, you went in like a schoolboy. Is it quite an intimidating thing to go into an international? Yeah,
well, it is. It's just because when it's like anything, something's new, you don't really know what to sort of think. Like the fact that you've just what did we play? We played Doncaster away. So you've just played against Doncaster. Next thing, you're getting in a car to go to the airport to then fly up to Edinburgh to meet everyone, and it's just that first feeling when you walk in, you don't know how everyone's going to be. And I'm thankful that the group of lads is actually really, really good, really good. Like whether you're at Liverpool or whether you're wherever, do you know what I mean? There's people from all over the place, There's some lads playing out in Spain, and that's the thing that's interesting is there's just no players exactly the same. Their roots are different, what they've done already, their ages, where they are. Do you know what I mean? That's what's fascinating. And you just learn all these different things about people, and they're a great bunch of lads as well. Like I fitted in straight away. I'm not shy to talk, which is quite fortunate. But the fact that they were all very welcoming, and it's just a different, like, training is just a different level. It's
that's what my next question
is frightening.
Is it so? Obviously, because like so you're saying, okay, you're playing with you're training with the likes of Andy Robertson, who's now just gone on. He's now a Premier League champion.
Yeah.
Compared to, obviously, there is a difference in level between League One and Premier League. So was that something where you're like, oh my gosh, this is what is going on, or was it?
Yeah. So like, I can remember the first set of sides we played in training, and it just went 100 mile an hour, like just everything. The pace of the ball flying at you. Just whenever they shoot, it never goes off down the middle. Never. It's always right in it's literally like pinpoint every single time. It's crazy. It is so fast that it just literally goes in the corner. And that is the difference between, I think, League One and Premier League. Like, I think a lot of people say there's not much difference between like each level, but I think it's the small details that make it a big difference. Like their first touch literally sets them right up. It's pinpoint every time. The speed at which they see things is just different level. When they put a ball in, it is so accurate. It's on a sixpence. Do you know what I mean? It's just the little things that make the massive differences, and he is rapid as well. In terms of that, he is rapid. But yeah, just in general. And then I remember the first time I came back, because I remember speaking to the goalkeepers there at the time, and they were saying, "Wait till you go back with your club," because the Scotland GK coach, who's the Celtic GK coach, he tonks the ball. To be fair, he does. He has got a full-on whack on him, and he was saying, wait till you've done a week of this, and then you go back with your club. Watch the difference of how much easier it feels dealing with volleys back at Portsmouth. Just because the balls that you use in the Euros are just lighter, they're a different material, and yeah, everyone's different. Like, some people kick a ball harder than others. It's just natural. That's just how it is, and. Yeah, that first day back, honestly, it felt so different. It felt like I could see the whole ball doing its revolutions through the air, literally. I could see every pattern on the ball.
That's not a bad thing to have, is it? You know?
No, it was scary.
So we
did that, and then January came along and completely turned it on its head.
Yeah, so I guess we'll go to there then, and so. As a Portsmouth fan, I think I really like you as goalkeeper. First season, I was like, I absolutely loved you. I was there at Wembley when you saved that penalty. I was like, you're literally the best human being alive. I was like, this doesn't get better. And then all of a sudden, January 1st comes along, and then you're just dropped out of the team. And so how does that affect you as a sportsman? Because obviously, it is a competitive field.
Yeah.
So do you just have to take it on the chin, or is it something that you're obviously I presume you're obviously disappointed with it when you first find out, and then how do you react to that?
Well, I think a lot of people ask me the same question as of why did it happen, and there's the frustrating thing more than anything is for a lot of my early career before I came to Portsmouth, I spent a lot of time sat on a bench. I'd play when, say, Dean Ensign at Shrewsbury was away on international duty with the England 21s, and I'd play when I was at Walsall under Neil Etheridge when he was away on internationals. I got injured, and the fact that it literally 18 months later came around where I'm being taken out of the team, it was kind of why am I all of a sudden I've played 82 or whatever it was at the time, consecutive games for the club in whatever competitions, and I now find myself out of the team. So unfortunately, I got pulled just before the Gillingham game. Got told he was gonna go and play, obviously, Bassey, which I was frustrated about. And you obviously ask the questions, and you get, I've just had a feeling just to change it up. That was literally all I got told.
So if I don't, obviously, there's stuff you probably can't talk about.
That's the thing. That is generally that's the thing. That was literally all that was said. I was pulled in there, said, "Look, Alex is. I'm going to play Alex against Gillingham. I've just had a feeling that I need to. I'm going to go with Alex. He's done well in training. And yeah, that's my decision. I'd like you to make sure you support him like he supported you during all this time. I know you've played a lot of games for me, and then it sort of just reinstated that I do value you still here, this, that, and whatever. Made that very clear. But yeah, it just took me out. And then I remember sitting there on the bench after that game, and then the hardest thing to do is, like you said, you got to take it on the chin because you are ultimately, you've got a game the next day. You don't want to be faffing around. You need to get your head right because who's to say in that game, what if Bassey got injured? All of a sudden you're straight back in again. And you're playing, so you've got to get your head screwed back on. But it was frustrating to be told that you're coming out of the team.
So this year, as a Portsmouth fan, there's obviously been like a little bit. It seems like there's been a little bit of, I don't know, like some fires in the camp, shall we say. So there have been some other players that have had situations where, so someone like Brett Pittman, he was club captain and then isn't playing this season and then is sent off to go train with Bournemouth. And I listened to his interview the other day, and it was with Andrew Moon, and he was saying, "Oh, I never really knew. Like the manager never really spoke to me." Is that does that annoy you as a sportsman? Like, do you want to have more, I guess, comfort from the manager and be like, no, like it's nothing you've done, or is it? And does like seeing it happen to other people around you, does that affect you as well? Are you a bit like, something's going on here? There's like a bit of a coup happening.
Yeah, well, I don't know, because I know I can remember it. Everything that happened. It's nearly 6 months ago now. I think it is actually 6 months ago. Thinking about it, I can still remember that full month clear as day. Because I mean, it literally got to the point where I thought this is actually the lowest part of my career. I've gone from the highest part 2 months prior to the lowest part of my career because I'm still sat here on a bench. I've got the national team goalkeeping coach and manager saying, you need to be playing. You need to be playing. The Euros are coming. You need to be playing. And I'm like, yeah, I know I need to be playing. He's like, what's his reasons? What's the reasons? And I'm like, there isn't any concrete reasons. That's the thing. Literally, every time I go and speak to the manager, he's very happy about how I've done for the club. He'd happily play either one of us. And he just said, just make sure you're ready for when I do change it again. And I'm like, that's literally all he's given me. I've literally gone through every department of goalkeeping and got told, nope, not an issue, not an issue, not an issue. And I'm like, there's nothing more I can do. And he's like, right, well, like I said to you, you will come away with us if you're playing. If you're not, we can't physically say how can we justify as a country taking away players that aren't representing their clubs. And I was a bit like, literally, I'm sandwiched between these two walls and I physically cannot do anything about it.
That must be so frustrating.
Yeah, it is. And
is that something you brought up with the manager? Are you like, look, during that moment, you're like, I've just been called up. I need to play.
I made that. Yeah, I did have that conversation, and he understood that. He knew, and then also had the chat. Look, I've been in professional football nearly 7 years, and 4 of those years I've sat on the bench in my career, and I'm like, I don't want to be doing it again. And he's like, yeah, well, and he completely got where I was. This is the thing. The conversations me and him had, they've been very good. There's been no row on it. It's not how I work. And it's not really how the manager works either. You have a grown-up conversation, you talk through what you've got to discuss, and then you get on with it. And yeah, literally, he completely understood where I was coming from. But when I kept asking questions about why I was out of the team, I wasn't given any sort of constructive criticism, shall we say. Don't get me wrong, there's games last season that started when I was playing, there was some goals that went in. Of course, I'm not an idiot. I know sometimes when I should do better with some goals than others. I don't need people to point the finger at me. And I'm the worst critic, trust me. I'm the worst critic in the world. I'll criticise myself for something that probably isn't even my fault. I am that strict on myself. So that's the thing. It's not a bad thing, but sometimes I'll come back and I'll watch it back again. I'll think, why have I actually criticised myself for that? I literally can't do anything more.
Yeah.
And I think, sometimes, and that's the beauty about being a goalkeeper, you take that on the chin. You see it every weekend. Mm-hmm. If you went and looked on any social media and watched any game, say you typed in, who played the other day? Newcastle played Villa, didn't they? Villa beat Newcastle. I bet and I know not a lot happened, but if you type that in on any sort of internet, I guarantee you'd see people slating the goalkeeper. That should have gone in. That should have done that. He should save that. And sometimes things are literally going top bin, and they're still being criticised for that. It's like, and that is football. The goalkeepers, unfortunately, they're in the net to save stuff from going in the net, but you're only human at the end of the day as well. Mm-hmm. And yes, there's stuff. I am a part of the union, so to speak, the GK union, but I do think every goalkeeper out there will know deep down if they should do better. And like I've said, there's some stuff like the season before, there was stuff that happened in there, and I'm like, I should do better with that. Mm-hmm. But you're not going to save everything as well. Yeah. And that's what I sort of said to the manager. If I'd rather you just completely criticise me, completely rip me to pieces. If the reasons for taking me out of the team is because I've been rubbish, I'd rather you just tell me. And he went, well, it's not. I went, right, well, if it's not that, then what is it?
He told you doing your job well.
Yeah, and that was the most frustrating thing because it came out of nowhere. And then you got people asking, and this is people I know just through the football world that I've played with, family, supporters, and the most frustrating thing is when they ask why, and it's like, I don't know. I actually don't know. I've just been taken out of the team, and I haven't played since January, the 29th of January. Yeah. And it is very, very, very frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of sort of answered the question partly sort of earlier, saying sort of goalkeepers are either the heroes or the villains, depending on the thing. And like with social media, how personally do you think social media affects sort of your view on the game, like compared for like with a win and a loss?
I don't really pay that much. I used to when I first went into professional football, it used to affect me terribly. You can see why there's a big emphasis now on mental health because it is everywhere. It's like you see it not just in football, just in life. Like there's stuff all the time. You just see stuff on social media, and then you find out that people are like committing suicide. Some people, and it's literally like. And then there's loads of stories. Like there's big stories about Twitter, isn't there? At the minute, massive stories on it about they need to do more to try and protect cyberbullying and stuff like that. Yeah. But even on the football pitch, I used to be terrible. I used to literally, when I was at Walsall, I used to sit there after a game I'd played, and I would look, and I don't know why I'd look for the negative stuff. You'd see the positive stuff, but it wouldn't you'd sort of go, oh, that's nice. Do you know what I mean? This is what happens when you live on your own. You've got nothing else to do. You're away from family and friends. You're literally on your own in the room. And you'd have a look.
We did a podcast on mental health a couple of weeks ago, and that's something we brought up actually, that so you could get 99 compliments, but that one negative one is the one that will stick with you.
And I'd love to speak to someone who sort of knows how the brain works, but it is so true. And I used to sit there, and I was only 21 at the time, and I can remember sitting there, and you would always think, oh yeah, it's nice seeing something positive. As soon as a negative came, that would be the one that would sink in your head, and you'd constantly think. And I got to the point where I'd actually go on the pitch, and you'd think, right, well, where is this person? Where in this ground is this person? Are they going to be there criticising? Do you know what I mean? And it does. It plays on your mind. And I can remember speaking to one of the coaches. I came clean. Like, a lot of people don't. A lot of people bottle stuff. I can remember coming clean with them, saying, look, I'm going to have to be careful with social media now. Have it. Use it for what you want to get out of it. But like in terms of all that stuff, don't use it for that. And then, now I've still got Twitter, still got Instagram, but I've now learned to use it just for what I want to use it for. Look what's going on in the world. But when a game's done, I've now sort of taught myself, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to have a look and find out what people think on the game? Because naturally,
because you can't go back, can you? So,
no, you can't. You can't get it back. It's happened, and if you win, it's like anything. As a player, you're cloud nine. When you lose, you're rock bottom. It's the same with supporters. Where we feel, and the thing is, I think I keep saying it after games is, I think sometimes supporters don't think players feel as much as fans, and you do. Trust me, when you lose, it doesn't matter how you lose. It is the worst thing in the world. Naturally, it ruins your weekend.
That leads quite nicely on to a question I have for you, because from watching you show a lot of passion on the pitch, and it is great. Like, as a fan, that is something you want to see in your players. Like, when we score, you go mental. Like, when you make a great save, you go mental. Like, there's that great image of you saving Lee Catmull's penalty, and then there's like you like going like.
Yeah, I actually got blood rush to the head during that.
Did you?
I couldn't stand it up.
It is such a great image.
I don't even remember doing what I did. But you know when you tense up so much and your face starts going red and you get like the bubbles in your eyes? I stood there and I was like, whoa, God, right, let's walk back over here and get the
But there's something, so obviously, especially early on in your career then, when you said you did read the comments, does that kind of, so I've got two questions here, does that sort of fuel the passion to do better? And then, if not, has passion always been something that you've played with?
I don't think necessarily. You always want to prove doubt is wrong. Like whenever I came to Portsmouth, I think I said it in one of my interviews. Cause I thought I'm going to be clear just how I'm going to take the opportunity. I've sat on the bench for a long, long time. Every time I've played, I've done as well as the person that's playing in front of me. They've just never given me that opportunity to actually stay in the team. And fair play to both of them. Both of them now have ended up playing the Premier League, so fair play to them. But yeah, and that was what the most frustrating thing is whenever I haven't played, I've always said to myself, look, whenever you're playing, do not give the manager an opportunity to, when you go and speak to him, to go, I didn't think you were good enough. That is the easiest answer. You want to, as a footballer, you always want to make it as hard as possible for someone to take you out. And thankfully, that's what happened. And then I got the opportunity, because you just don't know what's around the corner. Like, I only played 8 league games for Shrewsbury, and I was fortunate enough there was that little bit of luck where one of them I played against Portsmouth. And you've got the opportunity. That there's no denying that opportunity came from playing against Portsmouth and not sulking about not being in the team. Because if I'd have sulked, I might not have been at Portsmouth today. And that's what I say to so many young people is, I know life is frustrating. I know football's frustrating. You get knockback after knockback after knockback. You just don't actually know what is around the corner. Because things can change very, very quickly. And that's kind of what I said to myself when I came to the club. You've got to take the opportunities when they sort of come to you. And the passion side of it's always been there. I think your career is so short. And I think, I can't speak on behalf of the players. I know there's a lot of players like this, and I would have thought, in terms of the win and the loss, I know every player feels exactly the same way as supporters. But in terms of the passion side, don't get me wrong, there's a few times where I'd get absolutely hammered by the lads, thinking, what are you doing? And if the rule wasn't, this is genuine, like the rule wasn't, so have you heard about, I didn't even know this was a rule, but if you score, you have to have one player present in your half of the pitch. If you have all your team in the other side, they can kick off and score. So that is why I stay down where I am. Because if we were allowed to, every time we scored,
you'd be down there.
I'm straight over there, knees back a lot, straight on top. And that is just how I am. But that's the frustrating thing, because that's why it was brilliant against. I was buzzing when Andre came down against Norwich. I was thinking, finally, The lads have come down to my half. I can actually go and celebrate with everyone.
Obviously, you said sort of like you played 8 league games at Shrewsbury.
Yeah.
Where you were able to get the opportunity to, sign for Portsmouth. Obviously, you started your career in the non-leagues playing for Harrogate. I'm going to come clean. I'm not a massive fan of football, so I'm not still learning. But I obviously the research and find it's like you slowly sort of working your way through those non-league teams and sort of like slowly up through the ranks. Do you think that sort of prepared you more for playing for Portsmouth than like if you'd just gone straight through an academy system?
See, I get asked this all the time, especially by like young parents of young goalkeepers or young goalkeepers more than anything. And it's tricky because I never played in net until I was 16. So I'm
really?
like,
oh wow!
But so you were 16?
Yeah, 16. So I've only been a goalkeeper 11 years.
Oh wow! Where did
my
you play before?
27-year life. Yeah.
Where did you play before?
I was either a winger or a forward.
Oh wow!
How do you transition from that to goalkeeper?
So I don't know. I just never wanted to go in there.
Jack of all trades.
I ended up just playing on a Saturday morning as you do in junior football. I can remember saying to the manager at the time, I want to go in net. We were doing a shooting drill. I just said to him, look, I want to go in net for this. I just want to give it a go. And I went in for it. Loved every minute of it. Absolutely loved every minute of it. Like just throwing yourself around and just getting muddy and I don't know. It's just like it's like when you do something for the first time, you get a real buzz for it sometimes. And I can remember afterwards we played because obviously when you're playing junior football, you train on a Saturday and then you play on a Sunday morning. And I don't know if it's the same down south. I'm speaking about up north. I don't know what it's like. I assume it's similar down here anyway. But so I remember finishing that game on the Sunday, and then I can remember saying to my parents, "Look, I want to go and play in net. You know, I don't want to play outfield anymore. I want to give like being the goalkeeper a go." So then they spoke to my coach there. He didn't want me to play in net. He wanted me to continue playing outfield. So I ended up leaving. Literally, flip the coin, gone. Split decision, and I left. The following weekend, you have to re-register, 7 days to register, or whatever it was in junior football, and I ended up playing in net, and played there ever since. The only problem I had was I wasn't big. I was tiny. Even at 16, I didn't grow until I was probably 18, 19.
Okay.
I was, at 18, I was about 5'8". Literally, I was small. I was small. For a goalkeeper, I'm stood in this net that's 12 foot wide, 8 foot high, and I'm getting lobbed left, right, and centre.
Well, it's worked out now, hasn't it? So
and that's just the thing. And that's what I say to people is, I think a lot of people can get bogged down by the whole academy thing. It's great if you're in an academy setup because the coaching is near enough every day. It's very high standard, but there's nothing to say you have to go through that route as well. I didn't, and I've now got the opportunity when I turn 21 to go into professional football. There's so many players I know that are in non-league or when they were in non-league that could easily have stepped up into the football league. Definitely, they had more than enough ability. So that's what I say to a lot of people: is no one's got a correct path of how to do things, but I do think as long as your attitude and your hard work is there, you've always got a chance. There's that old saying, you've probably all seen it, is that hard work always beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. It's so true.
Yeah.
So true. There's so many players out there that could easily play at a very high level, but they've just not got the work ethic or the attitude. And it's sad to see, but that's just, it's life. It's life sometimes.
Did you ever imagine when you were playing for Harrogate that eventually in your career, because you played at Wembley twice, haven't you? You played once for Shrewsbury.
I've been in the playoffs 5 years out of 6.
Oh, wow.
Oh, have you? Oh, right. Wow, I didn't know that. Okay.
Walsall, 4 times out of 6. Walsall once, Shrewsbury once, and then Shrewsbury twice, Walsall twice, Portsmouth.
Portsmouth once. So, and then so you've been lucky enough to play that quite a few times.
Yeah,
what's
that's
the
the
emotion of playing in front of 80,000 fans there?
The thing is, and this is what I keep, and I'll remember it for the rest of my life, because every other time I've been at Wembley, I was sat on a bench watching from the side, and we'd always lost. Always lost.
I
think it was the playoff final,
it.
the checker trade, the Johnson paint when it was that. We'd always lost. And it was like, crikey, like, some people never get the opportunity to go to Wembley. I've been 4 or 5 times and still never won. And then it came around, and I was thinking, oh my life, I'm actually going to get to play. Actually step on the pitch now and play. Yeah. And just the manner, and I think everyone will agree on this, is, especially yourself as a Portsmouth fan, it literally had everything in it. Every emotion going.
I paid £20 for my ticket. Like, I was in the top tier, but I saw 120 minutes of football and a penalty shootout. Jamal Lowe's goal was incredible. Mcgillivray scored a good free kick. In fairness, you literally saw everything. It was, and then the penalty shootout was amazing as well.
And the fact that it was sold out. Completely sold out. I think it was the biggest. Was it the biggest attendance Wembley's had in a couple of years? Because the fact there was just no hospitality or any corporate, so the whole thing was sold out, and it was just the fact that it was. It went to penalties. So literally, as soon as it went to penalties, I thought, right, so you've not won at Wembley. You've now got an opportunity here to give yourself a chance and the team a chance to win at Wembley.
Yeah.
As long as they miss or you save one and everyone else scores, you've done it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And you finally get to break that hoodoo of winning at Wembley. And it's on your terms. It's not like when you sat on the bench, it's horrible. You can't control that. You're right. Everyone. Yeah. This now, because it's gone to pens, is kind of on you a little bit. And I can remember Tom Naylor said it to me. He said, it's a chance to make yourself a hero here, literally. Yeah. No pressure, but there is a chance to do it.
So before the match, were you nervous? Do you get nervous?
No, I have to say, I actually thought I was going to be. And you always get little butterflies, of course you do. I think if you don't, then you're in the wrong career a little bit. Because you should want a little bit of nerves, bit of anxiousness, just because you want to do well. And you need to have that just to keep yourself focused more than anything. You get the best performance out of there's a little bit of tension there because you're more focused on everything. But I can remember, and this is the thing, it's nuts. I can reenact every little thing. I remember going out to warm up, and we got over to the goal to warm up. I can remember turning around, picking my bottle up, and literally saying to myself, "Today is your day. Today is your day." I can remember saying it, turning around, and then it's now only after the game's finished and the dust had settled. I'm like, that's nuts. Literally, you've said that to yourself, and it's happened. And the fact that the whole thing had emotions, left, right, centre. We went 1-0 down, and we went 1-1. Then we literally thought we'd won it because Jamal's actually scored the goal. And then literally last kick of the game they scored. And then don't get me wrong, extra time it's one of them. You kind of just sort of cancelling each other out. Not a lot really happened, but the emotion was still there because it's like, wow, literally we're in extra time here. Anything can happen. And then obviously penalties is what it is. It's always got emotion to it. But for 2 days afterwards, oh my life, it was. I couldn't sleep. I just couldn't. I just literally the adrenaline. I didn't even know you have that much adrenaline in your body. It was frightening. It was on. If I could bottle that up, I think that's the thing. If you could bottle that up, you'd make a fortune. Absolute fortune. You're on cloud 9, literally. But it's definitely one of the. I think it'll take a lot to beat that. Even though a lot of people criticise the competition, just because of what it had, how many fans were there, and the circumstances of which we won, from a personal point of view and a team, I think it'll take a lot to beat that. It will.
Yeah. Yeah. No. As a fan, I agree with that. It was just that whole day was just so special. Yeah, even as you say, people regard it as a import trophy or whatever.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter. The whole day and everything was great. So now that's done. The season's done now. I think you've got a year left on your contract.
I've got a year left on your contract. Yeah.
So what's next for you? Do you want to
I don't know because
so how does it work? Is it clean slate again? Does the manager go, right, season's down, clean slate, everyone fights for their positions, and you go in and fight for your starting position again? Or is it we're going to have a look elsewhere? Because I know around January time, I don't know if gossip ever affects you, but there was a lot of rumours.
No,
you heading to Rangers and things. Like, is that? Do you ever hear about that stuff, or is that just in social media?
You always hear about stuff. It's the same when there was talks of me coming to Portsmouth and talks of me going to Shrewsbury and talks of me when I came out of non-league going here, there and wherever. You always hear these stories, but it's until it's actually signed on the dotted line.
Yeah, anything.
There's no point in even thinking about it. It would have. I didn't sort of divulge straight. I sort of do too much digging into it. Really, I just sort of went, well, I'll leave it to sort of your agent to sort of get on with on the outside. But then, literally, just there, completely flipped his head. So I seen an article, people talking about that. The next thing, which a week later, I'm out the team. And it's like,
yeah,
what's going on here? And I seen a lot of people thinking that was because I was leaving and stuff like that. And I was thinking, oh no, it's a hard one to take this because I don't even know why I'm out the team. Because everyone, like I said at the start of all this, everyone has their up and down moments, but yeah, the fact I didn't get given sort of a concrete reason to work on that's what you want, really. If you're coming out of the team, you want a reason to work on stuff. And that was what was hard because I literally just had to carry on as I was always doing, whether I was playing or not, and just sort of wait until I get an opportunity to play again.
So, last question I ask: what do you see for yourself over this summer? Then, do you want to stay at Portsmouth? Is that something you want to do, and get your position back? Obviously, I don't want to cause speculation and people are going to leave this and be like, "Oh, Craig wants to leave. Craig wants to leave." What do you see yourself?
No,
do you see yourself?
I do.
Starting football.
I love Portsmouth. I do. I love being here. I love the club. Love the supporters. Like I really do love it down here. But I'm not getting younger, and like the national coach said to me, you need to play games. So it's like I don't know. Like I've got a year left, so I'm not able to walk away. So I need to either fight for my place here. But like you said, the only way it's only going to be fair is if it is literally a clean slate, and it has to be a completely clean slate. Now that'll be something we find out in pre-season. But my ultimate aim, I want to be playing football again. Definitely, I need to be playing football. I want that to be at Portsmouth. I do. I'm not going to sit here, and I know people will probably think, "Oh, he's just saying that," blah blah. But it is genuinely true. I want to be playing football with Portsmouth. But at the same time, I don't want to be sat on a bench. Do you know what I mean? I want to be playing games. And I know obviously the manager knows that from us having chats in the past during the season. I don't want to be doing what I was doing at Shrewsbury, and more so I don't want to be doing it. More so now, I'm getting older. I'm not getting any younger. Okay, I've got plenty of years left as a goalkeeper, but you want to play as many games as you can in your career. And the fact that you've got Euros next year, okay, they've got to get through the playoffs, but how many times, if they got through that, how many times in your career do you get to go away in the playoffs? It's like, that's why you get to go away in the Euros. And it's like, whoa, it's crazy. And the only thing stopping that is the fact that, you need to be playing games in order to get the opportunity. And that's the thing. And that'll be something that I obviously have to have a chat with the management about, because ultimately they pick the teams and ultimately you have to perform. But the whole thing with being out of the team is I've not been told I haven't been underperforming enough to be taken out of the team. There's nothing they feel that I'm not doing as to why I came out of the team. And that's the sort of thing that I need to have the chat with the management about when pre-season comes. It's that horrible cliche where you want to be playing, but you don't want it. You don't want to wish bad on anyone. Do you know what I mean? I just don't think it's right, and I'm sure it's everyone's doing. I can't speak on behalf of how other people are, but personal preference, I support and always will support, even if I'm on the pitch or not. I will support whoever is playing, 100%. if something goes wrong, then you try and pick them up.
Yeah.
Only people like there'll be people. Well, there has been people. People will say to me all the time, "Oh, you'd save that. You'd save that." But then, if I was playing and something happened, they would say the same to the other person. "Oh, you'd have saved that." It's just one of, and that's the life of football. It really is. No one knows, and the thing is with goalkeeping, because no one knows what it's like to be a goalkeeper, and if you should save this or save that, unless you're a goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
So the natural thing to do is when something happens, is people go, "Should you save that?" And that's whether it's our own players or the opposition players. Everyone goes, "Oh, should you save that?" As if like you are the person to tell people if you should or shouldn't.
I think the goalies are always the scapegoats, aren't they? They always are. You know, the people are like, "Oh, well, you, as you're saying, like, how did you not save that? How, you know, you could have saved that."
Yeah, but
then you think, well,
they always ask for the goalkeeper's opinion on the other goalkeepers because you're a goalkeeper. So if you say they should, then they should. But like ultimately, only Bassi will know, and whoever was like, for example, the whole Ellis thing. A lot of people said that there's miscommunication and stuff then, and it's now been rectified. And didn't someone manage to find some footage on Sky or something of shouting and stuff?
I heard that.
Yeah, I swear, because I've seen the article because he did generally call, and it's stuff like that. When stuff goes on in the game, especially it's harder when there's fans because it is so much harder to communicate, and a lot of people go, "Oh, he needs to shout louder," and I'm thinking, trust me, you've got 19,000 people. It is a lot harder than you think to shout and get your voice across.
Especially as it's like a small stadium, isn't it? So like, and the atmosphere, everyone knows Preston Park for the atmosphere. Like, to then be able to assert your own dominance over that atmosphere.
I get the whole, I know you have to be commanding and stuff like that, but it is a lot, like, there's no denying it. Every time a ball comes in the box and you're going for it, you're going to shout keepers. And you're not going to whisper it, you're going to shout it.
Yeah.
And I think the most frustrating thing is sometimes is when stuff happens, the easiest thing to do is go, "I didn't hear you." Okay, then. So I've just shouted at the top of my lungs, keepers, and you can't hear me. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's always one of them. It's just like always a grey area there. I know for a fact, you see the Premier League boys, they don't. A lot of the time, they get taught, and this is coming from Dean telling me, he went, the higher up you go, the Premier League, you get told to stay there. Don't come and get anything. The centre half
really?
do it. Yeah, unless obviously it's blatantly obvious.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you get the game completely changes. The centre halves would rather just deal with anything that comes in that box. You stay there and react to a shot. So the whole game has changed because I think, yes, okay, you need, as a goalkeeper, the ball comes in the box. If it's put up with enough height and it's not too pacey, and you can come and affect it. But the game is evolved so much from before. You look at the Premier League now; it's so quick. The delivery, and I've seen this when you go over the national team. The deliveries are that quick that sometimes it can cause more problems. You come to try and affect something that you might not get a clean catch or a clean punch. You might get in between bodies and get muddled up. That they'd rather just, unless it's blatantly obvious, if it's blatantly obvious and it's hung up and chipped up to come and get it. But if someone's whipping it away from you, I think that's what Dean was saying when he goes away with England and stuff. They would just rather deal with it themselves. They know what happens then. Ball comes in the box, they go and edit. Anything comes towards the goal, you try and save. That's the duty. And don't get me wrong,
that's interesting.
The further down you go, it gets easier to come and take stuff. I do think. I've had people say to me when I was playing, I think you should come at like supporters after games. They go and say to you, "I think you should do that," and it's like, well, that's fine. That ultimately is your opinion. I'm not going to say you're right or wrong, but everyone does things differently and how they do things. I know. Yeah. Another thing is the first year I was there, it was no one knew what I was about. No one knew what sort of goalkeeper I was.
Were you
stuff in the box,
the person in like the lowest league? there? Were there other people in League One at the Scottish camp, or was it just you?
There was me and John McLaughlin, who was at Sunderland at the time.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I guess you're like, yeah, everyone was like, who are these guys, you know?
Yeah.
Really just come in.
Yeah. But they don't, to be fair, they don't treat you any differently. Because you had lads that are at they're in the SPL, but they're not at the big clubs in the SPL. So they're in a similar sort of boat as League One and the Championship, I guess. I don't really know what it would equate to, but it'll be similar, that's for sure. But you do get, everyone's going to have their opinions and stuff. And that first year, I do have to say, people were putting stuff up, thinking I'm not going to come and go and get it, and I'd come and get it. And very quickly, every team watches another team back in the game. Everyone watches it, and if they notice a goalkeeper, if you're chipping things up from a long way out, or you're not whipping the life out of the ball, and they notice a goalkeeper will come and get things, they do tinker it. So I know the first year I was there, my statistics from crosses from the first half of the season to the second half of the season was a massive contrast, and that's down to the fact that people watch to see how a goalkeeper deals with things. If they know they'll come and get stuff and hanging it up, then they'll tweak it.
Yeah.
Corners. If he knows he'll come and get stuff from a corner that's put with height on, they'll put it further out. And that means it's a lot harder to come and affect things. You want to come and affect more things, because if you can come and affect it, it makes it easier. You're taking control of the whole situation. They then won't get a shot in. Makes it a lot easier. But the game's evolved so much now, just because there's so much analysis. And even in League One and lower, people watch everything: penalties, what a goalkeeper's starting positions are like, how he is from crosses, what's his shot stopping like, has he got a weakness in his shot stopping, does he catch much, does he parry much? So there's no hiding place now. People find stuff out very, very easily.
Yeah, everyone's watching now.
And the game's changed
the
as
whole
well.
world.
You'll notice people designate a player to mark the goalkeeper. Mark the keeper. The game has changed completely. People want to stop goalkeepers coming and affect things. That's why they stand on the goalkeeper. They're there to poach. It. They can flick it. Because that's what I keep saying to every striker I've been with. You stand in front of the goalkeeper, you'll get to the ball before I will. The only way I can get to that ball is to take you out. There's a penalty straight away. All you have to do is flick something. Not even flick it, fake to flick it, and you'll still score, because it's got enough pace in it. You ain't able to react in time. You're right in front of me. Yeah. And I do think, the whole blocking the keeper thing, it's hard work. I'd love to be able to say, I'll lift him up and I'll move him out the way. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to be able to do that. But when they're holding onto your arms and holding onto your shirt or standing on your feet, and you've got to go around them, and they'll just move with you. So it makes it a lot harder, for sure, to come and deal with things.
That's really interesting. I've just got 2 more questions to you, and just quite quick fire ones. Have you got a favourite save?
Wembley one. It's got to be the penalty save. Yeah. I think it's definitely got to be up there, just because of the occasion.
I guess, because of the whole situation as well. Like, that was obviously a fantastic save, but there have been some that, Pompey dedicated a whole video to your, best saves of, the season, not the one we just had, the previous ones. So there are some good ones in there. I guess the whole emotion of the day and everything.
Yeah. I think that's why I put it there. It may not be the most spectacular one, but I think just because of the occasion of it.
The photo, your face in the photo.
Oh, the tongue. Sky got me a kiss.
It's absolutely brilliant.
Me on social media with it.
Yeah.
What a face. Like that. I make some honestly, I said to my missus when I met her, I said, just never look on Google at my face, because literally, I'm like Phil Jones, literally. Yeah. I've got someday, when I retire, I'm going to go through it like a fine-tooth comb. I'm going to make a social media post about it. Yeah. I mean, some of my faces are ridiculous. I don't even know what I'm doing. Who's the funniest player in the dressing room? Funniest player in the dressing room?
Yeah.
Lee Brown's up there.
Oh yeah.
When Lee
Yeah, I
Brown's
see
in
that.
that mood, he's up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else we got? There's a few, to be fair, that bounce off each other. You've got so Lee, Ellis is up there. Hawks. Well, when obviously he's just left.
Yeah, he's sadly gone. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's up there. But I think sometimes, bless him, he's funny for just not being funny. He just does things like some people just you laugh at them for being just funny as a person. Like, sometimes something goes completely over his head. He won't grasp what's going on, and he just it's funny in that just a natural way.
Who would you say is the most hardworking?
Most hardworking. You got a few on that one as well. You've got. Are we talking this season? Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people won't know, like Bryn Morris.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The guy's had the most frustrating time in the world. Literally came to the club and instantly was injured. He ended up playing a couple of times with an injury. Didn't play his best games, and I think a lot of people thought that was his best games. Poor lad. The guy literally, when he was out injured, did absolutely everything.
He was injured. So for people that might be listening to this, I don't know. He was injured for like 18 months. Like he signed for the club, and then he was just instantly injured, and then he was fighting, coming back from injury, and then had like a hernia or something, and then had like a stomach operation. And,
the double.
Like, he's literally
double hernia.
He's literally had it all, and and you can obviously understand. Like, as a fan, I see a lot of people asking for him. Why we still got him? Release him. What's the point of him playing? And and obviously they know as he started both of the playoff games this year, and then you get people questioning that because he's not played a game for 18 months, dropping your club captain. So it must be difficult for him to.
I think
he just wants to play football, and
he just wants to play football. And the fact that these injuries came around, and I think just he had numerous scans to check if there was something up, and a hernia doesn't show up on an MRI scan. You've got to go at a certain angle in order to see hernias. So then it was like there's nothing there, and he's like, well, and it was like one of them back and forth things. No one was wrong. They couldn't see anything on scans for the whole time, and then eventually they found this hernia. And there was just all these little complications, trying to strengthen it all out. And the poor lad literally just had no luck. And he grafted his arse off to get fit again. Spent so much time when he could easily have gone, you know what? It's just not getting better. It's just not getting better. I ain't getting... And he could easily just gone, you know what? Sack it. Do you know what I mean? But he hasn't. And just now he's fit, like he is a very, very fit lad. Very fit lad. So he's definitely one of them. Bolt, another one. It's a lot. A lot of them, I'd say, are Shrewsbury boys, just because a lot of it was bred into us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the stats. When I can remember at Shrewsbury, they were frightening during the week and on match days. So it was just bred into you. Yeah. But I wouldn't say anyone in the dressing room is lazy. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No. I mean,
they'll do their work, they'll do their gym, they'll do their football. Yeah, exactly. They'll do their gym, they'll do their football.
Yeah.
But there are some lads that will go from doing them to then your extra bits. Even on days off, they'll go to the gym and do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not blowing a GK Union trumpet here. Goalkeepers during the week naturally work hard.
Mm-hmm.
As well, because we don't, and it's weird because during the week an outfielder won't do as much work as a goalkeeper, but on a match day a goalkeeper won't do a lot and the outfielders will run a lot. They'll do a lot of work. So in terms of training environments, I'd say goalkeepers are up there as well, definitely.
So Craig, it's been fantastic having you on. We've loved this interview so much. Like even in that break in between, we were like, we love him. Which was, have you got any sort of social medias you want to shout out? Anything? Yeah, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Shout it out now.
What? As in my ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone wants to give me a follow, they can give me a follow on any Twitter. I'm terrible. You're asking someone here who just can't. Yeah, if people want to follow me,
yeah.
Go on Facebook and Twitter. I don't really use Twitter, but I do have it.
Yeah.
But I don't really use it anymore.
And possibly this might be the most important question you ever answer in your life. In order to become a member of the Rusty Club, which is our sort of interview segment here, we need to know, what is your favourite ABBA song?
My favourite ABBA song?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Dancing Queen, probably.
That's a good. There we go.
That's a good one.
That's
a good one.
Say that.
That's my mum and dad's favourite band. That so.
Great answer.
Likewise,
thank you so much for coming on.
No
we really
worries at
appreciate
all.
your time and everything.
No
So
problem.
thank you.
Yeah.
Super
Thank you very
stuff. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Anyone fancy a pint?
Another massive thank you to Craig for coming on. As we said earlier, it was a fantastic interview. Really great guest, really lovely guy. And we definitely have not just recorded this about 5 seconds after finishing the intro. So, it's a peek behind the curtain, and you have actually. Yes,
I've got something I want to show you. So I've, lockdown's hit hard, and TikTok is obviously taken off, and I found these Australian radio DJs. Oh my god, they are so funny, and I'm just gonna play this clip because I don't think so. They're on every day in the morning, but I think in Australia, over here, you're obviously not allowed to swear on radio. But I don't think it's an issue over there. I think there's obviously it's a dedicated channel to swearing, so you have the option if you want to do it or not. But this clip, man, it gets me in absolute pieces. I'm just gonna play it. They're called Jason PJ. Oh, hold on.
Oh, well, most people bite their fingernails, but I like to bite my toenails.
Yeah, right. Yeah, what do you sit on the couch and just have a little minge? What's that?
Yeah, I was a pretty flexible male, so...
Munch! Sorry, Joe.
I've seen those clips before. Like, I love clips of them. And I just... their studio's so big. And they all just sit like they have cameras just close-ups on each one, just reacting to stuff. And it's like it's perfect.
Oh my god!
I do love like the Australian.
Oh my gosh! Sorry.
No, I do. I've seen this clips before. They've been on Facebook and stuff. Now they're doing the rounds on TikTok as well. I do just love like that whole atmosphere they have in the studio. Like clearly you could tell they've been friends for ages and they just don't really.
Yeah, it's funny how like radios work, isn't it? Like because it is just essentially it's a bit like this. It's just essentially a long podcast, isn't it? And
but live and music.
Yeah, but what? So I was talking to two people the other day, and they were because Spotify was down. Yeah. Like last week it was down, and they were driving down somewhere, and they were saying we couldn't listen to Spotify, so we had to listen to the radio. And they were like, we never listen to the radio because they don't like the talking. They're like, what do you think about having a radio station that's just dedicated to music without people on it? You just play music.
I don't know. I think I quite like the talking in between. I mean, there's certain radio presenters that I really love, and some that I really don't like. And Greg James is one of the ones I absolutely adore. Like, I think he does a really good job of like balancing the music with the discussion. But then you have other presenters. I think there's like a guy on Radio 1 called like Cal or something. And I remember when I used to go to work, his show would always be on, and I'd be driving. And I'd be like, I can't listen to this guy talk. And I think if I can see the appeal of having the music only radio program station. And I think unless it's like a genre that you specifically really like, so like one for indie music or one for pop or one for rock music or something, I think then it'd be good. But I think if you're just listening to like a mishmash of all music, it might not.
And you'd have to add adverts in. You'd have to make money off it. You'd have to put adverts in, which is the difficulty, I guess. And it's interesting, because I love Elaine Page on a Sunday, mate.
Yeah.
1 o'clock, I think. She plays like show tunes for 2 hours.
Driving back from any American football game if we've got enough time, and Ben's just like, oh, Elaine Page is on.
BBC Radio 2, baby. Exciting news. We've got merch.
We do. We have got merch.
I guess this is where we'll announce it, and we will put it out on all our social medias. Yeah. But yeah, a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Because so we're on Redbubble. Yeah. So if you type into Redbubble the 27 podcast, you'll find our merchandise, and we appreciate it if you want to buy. So we're not. I guess the benefit to us, it comes at no cost to us. So they just take a percentage of a majority of the percentage of the products that you sell. So we've been able to upload our images for and make all these items and stuff, and I think that's cool.
They're really cool.
Yeah.
Some of them is really
Have you
nice.
recently moved into your house and you don't have a clock? Get a 27 podcast clock.
Have you recently moved into your house and you haven't got a shower curtain? Get a 27 podcast shower curtain.
Do you like tea? Get a 27 podcast mug.
Yes, I will be using a mug. If you've not noticed, I quite often have green tea when we do these recordings. Yeah, I'll get the mug. The mug is on its way, and I'll be using that all the time.
Yeah, but it's the best way if you guys want to really properly support the podcast. That is the best way to do it. You know, I'm going to be frank about it, we will make money off it, but that will go into improving the quality of the podcast for you. So
every mug you buy, we make £1.50. So if we sell,
go on, Ben, do some maths.
500 mugs, right? We'll be over £500. So I reckon we could book one good guest, one celebrity guest for £500. So no pressure, guys.
Go on, chop.
That was. I just thought we should declare it, and find it. There'll be posts on our social media about it, and as we said, some of it is probably a bit expensive. We can't control the prices
of the merch,
so it is what it is. But no, and we've also got. You won't find hats on there, but we have got some hats coming up lined up in the pipeline. So and we're not expecting anyone to buy anything, I don't think. But we don't expect people to listen, do we?
Yeah,
so just the support that you guys could show if you want to. And we're entirely grateful. And thanks for listening, and thank you again to Craig for honestly.
Incredible interview.
I think Ben's year's been made.
Yeah.
Interview.
Just absolutely loved it. So thank you very much, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, see you next week.
Adios. Goodbye.
Bye.